Hello, it is January 5th. I got glasses on today. I'm exhausted, but I knew I had to get on here today, not because I have anything to say, but because I have made a commitment to myself to do this every day. This is part of, excuse me, this is part of the Journey to Joy system where we have a daily action and commit to that daily action every single day. This will be my sixth day, even though it's January 5th. I started December 31st. But when you commit to yourself, two things happen. One, you start to build trust in yourself, meaning if I say I'm going to record a video every day, which isn't very difficult. I can do it with a phone, I can do it with a computer. It doesn't have to be in this room. And if I say I'm going to do that and I don't do it, then when I say I'm going to make several million dollars this year, my body will reject it. My mind will reject it because it'll say, you couldn't even record in your house on your phone every day. How are you going to navigate something that significant? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is if my goal is to build this business, build this brand, build awareness for what I'm doing, part of that is showing up every day. And I actually had a conversation this morning with Claude because I was talking about this recording and trying to do the engaged detachment. And I don't know if I really talked about what I think I did, but the whole concept of really focusing on what's in front of you and not really attaching yourself to the outcome of what you're doing. So we were talking about that this morning, and he was telling me that this recording is a form of engaged detachment because there's not uh certainty that anyone will ever see this. And it's not being done, it's not being recorded. And he specifically asked me this question. If it was being recorded with this audience in mind and editing for this audience, and it really isn't. If it was, I would be a lot more structured than what I am. So this is doing this every day is practicing and building that muscle for engaged attachment. And I'm also going to be doing near daily social media posts, Instagram and LinkedIn. I don't know if I did, I don't know if I said it would go on TikTok or not. I just heard a noise I don't recognize. But all right, I'm back. I don't know what that was. But I have set these up, and that's what I was doing all day today, fighting with my computer, trying to get things to move and design these posts that I'm going to schedule, put into Planoly, because batching them like that and then letting them go out on a schedule will allow me to focus on any engagement that needs to happen. Because, like right now, if I had been putting that out as a post today, as and it was a struggle, just the computer was slow, the software wasn't doing what it was supposed to do, just trying to figure out what the best layout is, all of that energy If I had done that and then had to worry about keeping up on comments and responding, it just wouldn't happen. So this way, I'm going to schedule them starting Wednesday. Just remind me, I got to do my article, but starting Wednesday. And then as they start to trickle out any engagement, then, and I'm going to do almost 3 weeks ahead of time. So any engagement, I'll be able to handle that as it comes. That's the plan. I don't know if it's gonna work, but in any case, that's what I was working on today is trying to get that visibility together. That wears me out. Plus, I stayed up late watching Shark Tank. It's my guilty pleasure these days. If I don't know if it'll still be going on. I think this is what season, they're starting a new season actually tomorrow. 13, season 13, season 16, I don't know. I literally just started watching this late last year and I can't get enough of it. I don't ever intend to be on the show, either as a judge or as a business owner, but it is interesting to listen to what the sharks look for, what they listen for, understanding the concept of valuation, seeing the different stages that some of these business owners come forward in, the difference between a product and a business. It's very interesting, and I do enjoy it. And I do watch episode after episode after episode. So up last night watching that when I should have been in the bed. Uh, and then I got up early this morning and started working on this. I'm fighting with the China people. I think I mentioned yesterday that I received the bottles, some water bottles that I'd ordered, and they had nicks and scuffs all over them because of the finish on this type of bottle. And they're just kind of just like, send us a picture circling every defect. Come on. Not happening. Almost cussed. It's not happening. So, I'm fighting that. We'll see. What else? I do have to have a funding conversation at some point. Hey, this is the way things work, right? I am down, when I say down to the last couple of dollars rolling around my bank account, counting on the contract contract amount being deposited today. No, they're having some kind of issue with their EFT process, so they have to FedEx me a check tomorrow. Fortunately, I'll still be here. But that's going to be an electronic deposit because they're not, the bank isn't here. So it probably won't get credited to my account until Wednesday at the earliest, Thursday at the latest, just the way my life works. And of course, I travel on Wednesday. Oh, yeah, hello. I haven't even packed. It's Monday. I have tomorrow to pack because I leave early morning Sunday or Wednesday. So I'm gonna do a little bit of that. Uh, I might do a little bit of that before I go to bed, but most likely I will do it in the morning when I'm scrambling and running around. I don't have to leave until 6:30 tomorrow, but I do have a couple of meetings that I'm going to be going through tomorrow. Yeah. But somewhere in between there, I'll get packed and get all my stuff. It's not a huge deal because if I never leave the villa, Just put the same thing on every day and never leave the villa. That's always an option. I'm not going to do that, but it's always an option. So that, what else did I do today? What did I, what did I don't think there was much of anything else. Did I accomplish anything today? It didn't feel like it. That's really the issue. I didn't feel like all that pushing and working. I literally was on the computer all day, all day. I just got off to come up here and record, but all day I've been down there on that computer and it just feels like I got nothing done. It's beat me up today. Let me think though to make this productive if there's anything. I don't think so. I can think of nothing. Um, I did get the emails that I am invited to apply for the peer group. So this is something. Back in 2021, again, this is January 26th. So back in 2021, I was part of a free program here through Walker's Legacy. They had an entrepreneurial training program that was several weeks. I honestly don't remember the full time, but it was over several weeks. And at the end of it, they assigned you a mentor. Now, I understand the premise, I understand the reason and the concept, but the execution, not so much. Because the people they paired me, or I shouldn't say that. The person who I was paired with, she didn't have much more business experience than I did. So, but nice enough lady. And we talked and discussed some things. It was much more of a peer conversation than a mentor mentee relationship. But she had gone through this program called CMET, Center for Micro Entrepreneurial Training in Florida. And it was virtual, as most things were in that time frame because of COVID. So she recommended it. Sure, I'll do it. And I did. It was 5 days during the day. So it was really hectic because I wasn't full time in my business back then. I was still working a job. And I was trying to get assistance with making that event rental business into a business. I had not released that business yet. So I'm trying to do work and tune into this training all day. It was hectic. But the format was they had it chunked out, similar to the program that I facilitated here at the Rochester Schools Modernization Program, where they had subject matter experts come in and teach chunks of the day. And as I said, it was interesting enough, and I we were supposed to continue meeting with the cohort that I was in, but it fell off shortly after the program was over. But I stayed in touch with them. They would send emails about things going on, and I would join as necessary or as my schedule would allow. And of course, once I started full time in my business, I had more time to just heard something else. Uh, I had more time to spend on those kind of classes. So I'm not sure what year it was. But sometime after, what I was doing after graduating was joining the cohort, the current cohort for, let's say they had an attorney on talking about trademark that they didn't have when I went through it, then we could join and listen in on that session. So that's the kind of stuff that I was doing shortly after graduation. Then they developed did they call that one the GAP program? I think first they developed what they called an accelerator program. And the accelerator program, they paired you up with a person. And they paired me up with a woman in Florida who, again, from a business standpoint, she didn't quite have much more knowledge than I, or than me, but she did websites. So she was giving me a lot of information about websites and how that should be laid out, which was good. I did need that information. But we reached a point where she could not, both on her side, where because I didn't need a website, there wasn't much more she could do for me. But on my side also, because this, again, still trying to shoehorn that event rental business into something, there were a lot of pieces that I just didn't have yet. So we didn't meet through the full time with her. Then I think I dropped off somewhere. There wasn't a lot going on with CMET that I was participating in. And then they had the GAP program. At least I think this is called the GAP program, but this was meeting every month with fellow graduates, just kind of understanding what's working, what's not working, what resources do you need, that kind of thing. And by then, I had released the event rental business and was full time in the training business. And it was really good. Had some really good resources, made some good connections. When I went to do the AI business, there was a guy who was teaching there. He didn't turn out not to have be very useful for my AI stuff, but he gave a little information. Then there was a guy who did a session on networking, and Kirk, love me some Kirk. Uh, his book on networking. I got that, read that, and then I did one-on-ones with him. So that was very useful, very helpful. What else did I do with CMET? Oh, so then I did that program, and because that was doing well, they put me into this other program, and I don't even know what they call this because it was a pilot with Jim Downey. And Jim is a facilitator for a peer group it's apparently a fairly popular peer group because the participants are multi-million dollar CEOs, so they pay a significant amount to be part of that group. I can't remember the name of it. But I got Jim working one-on-one with me for 6 months for no charge. I mean, that's a huge benefit to have that level of mentor working one-on-one with you for no charge just by being part of these free programs. So all of that just to say, pay attention and take advantage of these ongoing resources. We, especially as micro entrepreneurs, we don't have any problem signing up for the free class, but stay connected, stay involved, stay engaged. You never know what other programs that they have coming up. Typically, those type of programs get grant funding, and they're always looking for new programming to be able to get more grant funding. So stay engaged even with your free classes, with the facilitators of the free classes, because again, most of the time they are really there to help you and they really want to do all they can to help you grow and just become sustainable in your business. So that's that lesson. And I'm not sure why I remember Jim, but because I don't think I did. Oh, I said that to say, haha, they sent the email that they're going to start the peer group that Jim is going to facilitate uh, within the next month or so. So I'll be able to pick that back up. Of course, this time it'll be a charge, but that's okay. It'll be a nominal charge, and that goes back to what I talked about yesterday. That's an investment because Jim, not only his business expertise will be helpful, but his connections and ties and introductions will also be helpful. So, well, more money. I'll do that. I think they're going to do it somewhere between 900 and $1,300 a month, which isn't bad. It really isn't. And he really did help me get some focus and some structure around what I'm doing with this. He doesn't know that I'm doing the other two. He thinks I'm just doing the one. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm not quite sure when that'll get revealed, like Vanna White with the letters. Bing! At some point I will, but um, who knows? Okay, I have rambled on long enough, and probably there's some parts of that you couldn't even hear because I wasn't really talking. I'm starting to feel fatigued. The voice is feeling fatigued, but I think that's everything I could think of to talk about today. So, bye.